All right, let's talk about one of the biggest revolutions happening in medicine right now, immunotherapy. I mean, think about it. Forgetting about creating some brand new drug from scratch. What if we could just reprogram our own bodies to fight disease? What if we could give our immune system a better set of instructions? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. So here's our game plan. We're going to break down three core strategies. First, we'll look at how we can target cells directly. Then, we'll get into this incredible idea of releasing the brakes on our immune system. And finally, we'll cover a clever tactic, literally starving a tumor. And through it all, we'll see how these plays are completely changing the future of medicine. This really gets to the core of it. The most powerful, most sophisticated pharmacy in the entire world, it isn't in some lab, it's already inside your body. Your immune system is the ultimate disease-fighting machine. Sometimes it needs a little coaching, a new playbook to work from. Okay, strategy number one, targeting cells directly. This is all about taking key players on or off the field. Seriously, think of it like a coach calling plays from a sideline, or making these really precise tactical substitutions, either telling certain immune cells to sit on the bench for a while, or sometimes taking them out of the game completely. It's all about controlling the body's response. So this strategy really splits into two main tactics. On one hand, you've got something called immune trafficking. The best way to picture this is like putting up a roadblock. We aren't actually getting rid of the cells, we're just blocking them from getting to the places where they'd cause trouble. Then, on the other hand, you have cell depletion. This one's way more direct. We're talking about actively removing certain immune cells from the system, just gone. Okay, so let's look at some real-world examples to make this concrete. For that roadblock approach, immune trafficking, a drug called natalizumab is a great example. It's used for multiple sclerosis, and it basically stops immune cells from being able to attack the nervous system. Now for cell depletion, a drug like rituximab literally goes in and removes B cells to treat things like lymphomas. Or there's daratumumab, which goes after plasma cells, think of them as tiny antibody factories, to fight multiple myeloma. See? Each drug has a super specific player that it's designed to take off the field. And this is a huge but, messing with the immune system is a really high stakes game. These are incredibly powerful tools, and they come with some serious risks you have to watch out for. With natalizumab, for instance, doctors have to monitor patients like a hawk for a rare but very dangerous brain infection. So yeah, this is absolutely not a casual treatment. It's a super precise, carefully managed intervention. Okay, so that leads to a really fascinating question. What if the problem isn't that our immune system is weak? What if it's just that the enemy, say a cancer cell, has figured out how to wear camouflage? What if it's hiding in plain sight? Ponder that for a second, because that question, it sets the stage for our next strategy, which is a total game changer. All right, strategy number two, releasing the brakes. And let me tell you, this is easily one of the most exciting things happening in cancer treatment today. So your immune system has these natural brakes built in, right? It's a safety feature to keep it from going totally haywire and attacking everything. The problem is, some cancers have gotten really smart. They've figured out how to reach over and slam on those brakes to protect themselves. So what's our play? Simple. We cut the brake line. These drugs are called checkpoint inhibitors, and you've probably heard of some of them, like pembrolizumab or nivolumab. What they do is block these specific proteins on our immune cells that basically act as off switches. By blocking these off switches, these drugs unleash our T cells, the real soldiers of our immune system, and let them go on the attack. And honestly, this approach has absolutely transformed how we treat cancers like melanoma and lung cancer. But when you cut the brake lines on a car, what happens? It can go too fast and lose control. It's the same idea here. If the immune system becomes too active, it can start attacking healthy parts of the body. This is what's known as an immune-related adverse event. It's really the main risk with these drugs, and it means you can get inflammation pretty much anywhere. The skin, the gut, the liver, you name it. Okay, on to our third and final play. This one's a little more subtle. It's an indirect approach. Instead of a full frontal assault on the tumor, what if we just cut off its supply lines? What if we just starve it out? The goal here is to weaken the enemy by taking away the very resources it needs to survive and grow. So check this out. For a tumor to get bigger, it needs a blood supply, right? Just like anything else. It has to build its own little network of blood vessels, and that process is called angiogenesis. Well, that's where a drug like bevacizumab comes into play. It targets a specific protein that's basically the master signal for building new blood vessels. You block that signal, no new blood vessels can form. And if there are no new vessels, there's no food for the tumor. It's a really effective strategy for things like colorectal cancer, but again, it comes with its own set of risks, like high blood pressure or issues with wound healing. All right, so as we close out our little tour of the immunotherapy playbook, let's just step back and look at the big picture. We've covered three totally different, really clever ways to use our body's own defense systems to fight disease. We are truly in a new era of medicine here.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? If you remember one thing, make it this. Immunotherapy isn't just one thing. It's not a single magic bullet. It's a whole toolkit, a playbook full of different strategies. We can get in there and directly manipulate immune cells. We can release the brakes and let the immune system go to work. Or we can use a backdoor approach and cut off a tumor's life support. It's incredibly versatile.
And all of this leaves us with a final and pretty profound thought. We have this incredible, constantly expanding playbook that lets us literally write new instructions for our own immune systems. So the question isn't really if we can do this anymore. The real question is, what's next? With a playbook like this, what disease could we teach our bodies to cure tomorrow?